What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. I am going to do a mobile broadcast today. Most of my videos I do either in my car, at my home. But today I'm gonna do a mobile. I'm gonna do it while I'm driving. Let's see how that works out. Just trying something new. So thank you guys for joining me today. We're gonna get started on a topic that I believe needs to be discussed. And the topic was motivated by an observed conversation that I seen on the Lapeef Let's Talk show last night. But before I get started, before I get in the kitchen and start cooking, because you know that's what I do on this channel, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. I am 3 subscribers shy of 200. So let's go ahead and get me there, ladies and gentlemen. I do it for you guys. I celebrate every subscriber I have. So thank you guys who have joined the channel. I appreciate it. Gonna continue to bring this content. But 3 shy of 200. So let's go ahead and get your boy there. So without further ado, I was watching the Lapeef Let's Talk show. Shout out to you, brother, and everybody on the panel. Keep doing what you're doing. Quality stuff over there. But one of the topics that they have brought up was, how do you measure, as a woman, a man's protection and provision? So it got really, really long-winded. There was a collective amount of opinions based on this particular subtopic, right? And it caught my interest. Most of the things that they talk about caught my interest, but this one particularly caught my interest because when it got around to the protection part, as well as provision, but the protection part, and the ladies got an opportunity to talk, then it started flowing into the whole aesthetics and how a man looks and how tall he is and how he's built, so on and so forth. And it went on to this long, exaggerated explanation behind why women prefer taller men. You guys seen the thumbnail. You've seen what I'm going to discuss. So I want to talk about it. I have always found it very interesting that most women will fight you tooth and nail on their stance on wanting to be with a taller man. Now, am I someone that sits here and says that, you know what, you're wrong for wanting what you want? No. You can want what you want. You can believe you even deserve what you want. But is that actually a transferable thing in the real world? Meaning, is that something that you deserve? Is that something that you qualify for? And let me tell you why most ladies do not qualify for a man that stands over 6 feet. Because, ladies, the average man in America, and these are statistics, by the way, is 5'9". The average man, meaning that most men, by and large, are going to be 5'9", around there, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". Once you get to 6 feet, 6'1", the numbers shrink. The statistics states that men, and this is all men, this is not just black men, this is not just, Asian men, this is not just white men, this is all men in the United States. The statistics state that only, 14.5% of the male population stand over 6 feet. 14.5%. I'm not a mathematician, but in any class, that's an F. That's not even an F. That's a don't show up. You failed, right? 14.5% of all men stand over 6 feet. And the crazy part is that one of the examples that I believe it was Courtney used, and the analogy she was trying to explain, was if her man was 6'5" and Kay's man was 5'6", who would win in a fight? Who would win in a battle, per se? What would be the perceived outcome of that battle? That's what she was saying. And even to her analogy, even to what she used as an example, a man that stands 6'5" is less than 1% of all men, period, right? So therein where is what caught my attention, because in the part of where they were discussing men protecting and women being biologically attracted to men of superior physique, and why it makes sense that women are attracted to men of larger stature is because they need to feel protected. I call BS, because most of what was being described was what to me sounded like little girls who had never grown up. That's what it sounded like to me. I can sign up and even understand that at a time when we as people used to have to source our own food, tackle water buffaloes, hunt, fish, build campfires, that a man that may have exemplified more superiority in a physical way would be more attractive to your average female at that time. But my argument even for that is that all men were attractive if they had some level of skill set in the ability to be able to kill a water buffalo, fish, hunt, build a campfire, build a tent, sew clothes, or whichever. So now fast forward to modern time, where you don't even have to leave your house to order a meal anymore. You can literally jump on your phone and order an entire meal and it show up at your doorstep in under an hour, right? Why is it that women still seem to be, by and large, fixated on the superior physique of a man? Now I did some more studies for you guys, just to bring some continuity to my argument. And by the way, I'm going to leave a link to the show that I'm referring to. Now, I will warn you that the show is extensively long. They do quality content, but on average, their shows are 4 or 5 hours, in most cases. And this show is no different. So feel free to watch it at your own leisure. But anyway, why it was bothersome for me was because I looked up what the average height of a woman is in the United States. And the average height of a woman in the United States is 5 feet 4 inches. So now again, I'm not a mathematician. I'm no expert when it comes to these things called numbers. I'm decent. 5'9" is larger than 5'4". 5.9 inches and 5.4 inches is a difference. That's actually about 5 inches difference, right? So why would women still say that they want their men to be taller than them, when on average, most men are taller than the average woman, even at the average height for a man? And therein again lies the problem for me. I'm a man that has had this conversation with women for as long as I can remember, because I've always been curious. Some of my friends are actually freakishly tall, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", they're giants. So when we're walking around, they look like my security squad. Like, people sometimes think that I have a mobile security, because they're like, yo, who is this guy? And I'm nobody. I'm just me. I'm just Daniel. But because of their height, it brings that attention, right? And I've always found it interesting on how women gaga over, men that are really, really tall. Now I get it from what they claim, that it's just more desirable to have a man that is very tall. Okay, great, good. Your preference. No harm, no foul. But I think the problem is that with the math, it doesn't make sense if you're looking to be somebody's woman, somebody's wife, somebody's person, because the numbers, ladies, are not in your favor. If 14.5% of men in the United States, and there's hundreds of millions of people here, if only 14.5% of the overall population of men stand over 6 feet, well, then that means that you're going to be fishing from a very small pond, and that you rule out 85.5% of all men that you may qualify for, that may just so happen to be shy of 6 feet, maybe 5'10". He may be 5'11". In the time when I was dating, actively, I would remember that profiles on things like Bumble, things like Tinder, and even those dating sites, women had the audacity to state, if you aren't 6 feet, swipe left. And I just used to find that very interesting, that was a qualification to potentially be with her. Mind you, you don't know this woman. She can be a nutcase. And in most cases, they wanted something that I believe that they didn't even qualify for, because a lot of these girls weren't even that cute, to be honest with you. But what I really found interesting about this whole conversation was how giddy how giddy these grown women were getting when they were referring to how tall these men were. And what was more interesting was that it was particularly women from our community, which I found to be sad, because I believe, and this is my theory on it, I believe that the reason why height is such an emphasis is because most of our women go their majority of their life without any type of masculine presence in their life. We all know that in the Black community, most of the households are ran by mothers. Most of the households are void of fathers. And so my outlook on this was, sometimes I think I'm a, unofficial psychologist. I go into this, I like to analyze, I like to study, human behavior. And what I found is that it seems like that the superior height of a man for women who are insecure, for women who are lacking a strong male presence in their life, for women who did not get the privilege of being guarded and protected by a man, are now in their adult life with the mindset of a 6, 7, 8-year-old little girl who by definition would need or be looking at a man of any stature. At that age, any man of any stature would be considered large from the perception. If you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, your dad or whatever male figure is around could be 5'8", and in your eyes he appears large because you have not grown yet. And so therein was what was interesting to me, because I'm like, well, why is grown women now growing to the average height of 5'4", being such a stickler to men at large by how tall they are? And to Kay's point, and that's probably, this is the only time I've agreed with Kay, how does something like height determine the ability for this man to protect you? And then I'll take it further. How does protection look now? In the current day market, you're not worried about grizzly bears. You're not worried about mountain lions. We're not worried about, Komodo dragons and things of that nature, ladies. So why are you guys still out here acting as though you have to pick a man based on your survival, based on the very thing that you claim is why you were so hell-bent on having a man of superior height? What I believe it is that women that are insecure, women that have not had the privilege of being around masculinity in their adolescence, will put a premium on a man being exceptionally larger because she needs his height to go ahead and fill in the gaps in the emotional holes of her life. And I don't think that's fair. I don't even think that that's right. I believe that shame on you women for operating from that premise and thinking that it is okay to put not only protection, provision, legacy, strength, planning, wisdom, foresight, and all the other things that you put on us men to do. Now we have to be tall on top of that to now make you feel safe and secure in a world that commonly there is no threats. One of the things I was sharing with a friend of mine about this particular topic is I said, the sad part is that women don't, sorry about that, I'm driving, this is a mobile show. But one of the things that most women don't even understand is that most men, I don't care what height they are, can live majority of their life now in the last, I would say, 40 to 50 years and not even throw a punch. Most men, because of the way our world works, because of where we live in our very day-to-day, this is not 300, this is not the Spartan days. It is not required for a man to engage in hand-to-hand combat. The way we win our battles now is through hostile takeover, corporate structure, building businesses, building wealth, building things of that nature. And that does not require a man to be 6'2", 6'5", 6'8". As long as he's competent, diligent, disciplined, and someone who has a plan and is committed and works that plan, then ladies, that man, by and large, could stand at whatever feet level he wants to in the penthouse that he buys or the G5 that he purchases. Because most men that are uber successful anyway, most men on the Forbes list are not 6 feet. Not even close. And so it was interesting to me that this was something that was still being talked about in current day. because the argument mostly from Courtney and Kay going back and forth primarily, and Lauren, I believe, was saying that, well, we women do it because we want to feel protected. We want to be in an environment where we're surrounded by a man that gets respect socially and then gets our respect because we feel small. Ladies, you're always technically going to be smaller than most men. Unless you're one of these women that are walking around who don't work out, who aren't fit, and then you want to not only bring your 5-foot frame, 5'5" frame to a man that's 5'9", 5'10", but then you want to bring excess weight. And that's a topic and a broadcast for another time. But the problem is that it again goes to the selfishness that I believe that exists with most women, that there has to be an overcompensation for what you didn't get. You know, like I hear women say, well, I don't want him to just be taller than me. I want him to be taller than me when I'm wearing my heels. So if you're 5'4" and you wear 4-inch, 5-inch heels, well, you're standing 5'8", 5'9". So now you want the man to now participate in the manufactured height that you're borrowing for 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, or however long you're walking around in these heels. That is not really your height. It's fabricated. And I'm sorry, ladies, I can't subscribe to that. I think it's nonsense. I think it's BS. And I think a lot of what is going on where you ladies are looking over men that could potentially be great for you, all because you believe, or you're operating from a place of superior insecurity, trying to bag a man that you build value on, because socially walking around with your girlfriends, introducing this man to your social circle, and him stand of the stature is going to get you brownie points. Shame on you, ladies, for operating in this manner. And fellas, don't for 1 second believe that because you don't add up to her desired stature that you're less of a man. If that woman doesn't want you because you don't stand 6 foot, 6'2", or whatever, fine. But you need to understand that you're valuable regardless of the fact. And women are not the ones who validate us in the first place. Ladies, a man that stands of height, I have posted it one time on TikTok, 2 girls actually talking about it. What do you want a man that's so tall for if he's not going to be beneficial for the height that he's carrying? If he's not going to the NBA, he's not going to be an Olympian, then what does it serve you to have a man that's 6'3", 6'4", 6'5"? Just because? No. I'm sorry. I can't allow for it. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. This was more of a little bit of a rant. Definitely not my normal way of doing things. Like I said, I'm mobily recording, but I didn't want to leave this Friday unattended to. I wanted to make sure that I jumped on here, showed you guys my face, definitely show my appreciation for all that is following me and showing me their support. And I wanted to give you guys something to think about before we go into this holiday weekend. I'm well over my time. I'm on 18 minutes and some seconds now, but I appreciate those who hung out with me today and listened to my rant and my particular outlook on this topic. I will definitely be touching on this again, but you guys have a safe weekend. Make good choices. Be blessed. I may do after hours tonight. I don't know. We'll see what time I get home. Running around handling some business right now. But thank you guys. Like I said before, at the earlier part of this broadcast, I'm about 3 subscribers shy of 200. So let's get your boy to 200. Thank you guys for all that you do. I appreciate it. Until next time, this is Daniel Rucker signing out with True Table. You guys have a good one.